Hello and welcome to Zevy's Garage. Today I'm going to be showing you guys how to clean the sunroof drains on a MINI Countryman. So as you guys can see, I have a sunroof, one of my favorite features of this car, but I have had to deal with water and water going into the floorboard and shorting out my junction box electronics and my fuse box. So how do the sunroof drains work and where do they go? So as you guys can see here, we have a hole down in there. That is where the water goes through from the sunroof cassette here. You guys can see, here's our sunroof. So water goes down through the drain, through the A-pillar here, through the inside. Then it comes down along here and it comes out back here. You can't see it, but behind the fender liner there is a plug, and that's where it's supposed to come out. And often it gets clogged up with mud and leaves and all that kind of stuff, and then you end up with water in the interior. That's how the front works. As for the rear sunroof panel, you really can't see it, and I can't really figure out a way to show you unless I get like the borescope or something, but down in here, similar concept, there's a drain. It feeds through the roof into the trunk, which comes out there and over here. The first thing I'm going to do is jack the car up side by side. Sometimes you can get away with just turning the wheel, but I'm going to take the wheel off, put the car in the air, pull back the fender liner, pull off my mud flap, and try and get access to the plug. If you look in here, you can see there's a couple, there's a 10mm bolt there. Another screw type up here, but I think we can get away with just doing the 10mm here. We have, it's a 7 or 8mm, I want to say it's a 7mm here. Once we get that and that off, the liner should come out. So, I undid our 10mm bolt and our 8mm bolt here to get the liner off. If I remember right, maybe I don't remember right. Well, the liner should come off now. You at least want it to come off enough so that you can access the plug, which is right here. I don't know if you guys can see that. Can you see it on camera? Kinda. My index finger is on. There's a rubber plug here. Up a little bit. There you go, the rubber plug here. You can pull this plug out like so. Back up here. I'm gonna pull this plug out because there's like a tube inside the pillar that comes down and it 90s into this plug. You pull this plug out and that's how you can clean it. I don't know if you can see on camera. You can see on this side that the plug goes all the way through. This tends to get plugged up with leaves and such. I cleaned it about a year ago, so nothing here. But we'll still check the rest of the system. See if I can hook a finger in here if I can. No, I can't. So what we're gonna do now is we're gonna put both compressed air and water down through that sunroof drain, run it through here and see if it flows well coming out through the drain. At the bottom of the front liner here, you have a screw like this. It spins and then the clip pops out, and it gives you more access to pull the liner back than I did. I usually don't do that just because I don't really need it, but to reinstall this properly, it's easier to undo that screw at the bottom, and it's pretty easy. It's just under here. Before starting this process, you'll want to lift the headliner here just to ensure that the tube from the sunroof is actually going to the pillar. Because if not, if you pour water, it might come out through the liner. So, I have compressed air. I'm going to take the nozzle, I'm going to shove it in the hole, and then we're going to see if air comes out the bottom. If air comes out the bottom, it should be set, but I still recommend checking that tube either way. I know mine are connected.
Yeah, fill air. Yeah.
So, since the air came out through the hole, we're gonna add water now. This is typically how I rinse it. And sometimes there's leaves and stuff and dirt that comes out, sometimes there's not. It just depends. So, we rinse it, we'll see what comes out. I do recommend if there is dirt that you find, you'll want to pick it out, because if not, it might back up a bit. Once you start pouring the water, you're gonna make sure you see it coming out. If you don't see it coming out, then it's probably clogged, and you don't want to clog it, because then it'll leak into your electronics. Okay, so I advise doing this with your windows closed, unlike me. My dum-dum's doing it with the windows open. So, what you're gonna want to do is just spray water down here. Go film down there. Water coming out?
Yeah.
Coming out, right?
Mm-hmm.
On that side.
Woo!
Sorry, then hand me the camera. And then you can see up here, the water is going out through the hole. Cool. We know this side works. We're gonna do that side, and then I'll show you guys the rear. The driver's side, or US driver's side, on the left, it's identical to the right side. Without taking it apart, you can test if your drains are working. So I did the same thing on this side. I've poured water up there, ran through here, and you can see there's a puddle down here, which is where it's supposed to drain out from. That being said, be careful if you're pouring it over through the windshield. I also highly recommend having your windows closed. If you pour it through the windshield and it runs along here, it might just naturally drain through the inside here, not through the actual drainage system. So be mindful of that. That being said, for me it worked. I clarified. I made sure to, after originally spilling the water, I made sure that water went away. And then I poured water again, made sure it dripped out through here. You won't be able to see it through there, but you'll be able to see it dripping from the bottom, which is correct. You want it to drip from there, and you want it to drip at a healthy rate. If it's barely dripping for how much water you're putting in, it's probably clogged. To illustrate my next point, after filming the fronts, you can see, especially because my car is on a slope right now, like so, you can see that the water has started to come out of the rear drains, like so. If you follow the path of the rear drain, it runs along the pillar here, or along the kind of trunk gasket, and if you look, it actually goes down below into the bumper. Okay, I've added some light in there. You can kind of see. There you go. Basic idea is the water runs along here, goes out, and based off of the water spots underneath the car, you can see it just drips on the floor. Okay, so I'm going to be doing the same thing with the rear. I'm going to start by putting some compressed air in here, see if it comes out through here, you know, through the holes, and then after that we'll add water. I sadly don't have my assistant right now, / amazing girlfriend, so I'm going to put you guys on the wall. Also, when I test it, I use about 40 psi just so that in case I pressurize it too much, I don't blow the line off in the drains. I feel the air. Success. Cool. We know that both drains work. You can hear air coming out of both of them. So now we're gonna try the water. Okay, time for the water. Let's run the water. For this one, instead of using a hose, I'm actually going to use a watering can. Just so that I don't dump water into the interior by accident. Because we all know that would suck. So I'm going to pour water and we should see it come out the drain. If it comes out anywhere else, that's not good. Oh shit. You can see it come out the drain. Ignore that it came down everywhere else too. That was just me not being able to pour very well. We're gonna do it again. Hopefully I can get it to illustrate just the tube. Once again, you can see water coming out the tube. Excellent. We're gonna go move on to the other side now. Minor thing I didn't foresee while testing this, the amount of water that we're pouring in is an unrealistic amount. That being said, this drain's pretty secure. When we have the trunk open, this drain right here actually has enough flow that it sprays into the interior. See, it's wet here. Got my dash cam wet and some other stuff. So make sure you guys try and not use as much water as I did, or try and physically have someone channel it or put something there to block it so it doesn't spray into the car. Once again, see it come through there correctly. See if I can set this up in a way and grab it and get a closer up shot. Okay, I think we have an epic shot. Hopefully I don't get the camera wet doing this. Excellent. Our drains work correctly. Since we've tested and all the drain tubes work, I will now assemble the vehicle. That being said, you don't always have to undo all this. I personally like to, at least for one side, just to check. Usually this side will get more gummed up, just because naturally the car tends to lean this way based off of the slope of the road, especially when it's parked. I always recommend cleaning that out, whatnot. You want to put the plug back in. Once again, if you look at it, just whoop, it pops right back in. And with that, it's the end of the video. Please make sure you guys like, subscribe, and comment. Let me know if this video helped you, because there's not very many videos on how to properly clean the sunroofs. If you need, you can get fishing line or some kind of line like that to get into the channels. But besides that, just blow it out there and get a pick if you need. Cool. No need to drill holes. Take care.